Robert Goldberg is the moderator for our next panel. They're going to be talking about design and functionality and how to design into that. Robert has a consulting firm called Scale Consultancy, but spent many years as a VP at Haan. Yeah, some really good brand companies, and really has worked significantly in his career globalizing brands and building brands on a global scale. So, Robert?
So I must say this is going to be a very tough act to follow, but we're going to have a lot of fun as we get up here. We're just going to be setting up just very quickly if I want to get our panelists up here. So one of the things that, I'm learning as we're sitting here and having conversations about brands and where the opportunity exists, I've sat in many meetings around the world with many companies literally constantly saying, where are we going to find the dollars? Where's the money? Open to buys are shrinking, retailers are consolidating, and people are not thinking about alternate channels of distribution. And one of the things that we really play into in my organization is thinking about how we bring retail, brands, travel, and hospitality into what I'm calling the new world order of omnicultural experience and commerce. Everyone wants to be a part of something. Everyone wants an experience, and it's our job to help them deliver commerce. And it's not just about the consumer, but it's about the employee as well. And it's building those synergies together that's what's going to reshape our world and open up a whole new arena for business and opportunity for all of this. I'm going to throw out a question for you right now. What is the market size? I don't even know. We haven't even talked about this. What's the market size for workwear today worldwide? Does anyone know? $30 billion annually. How many brands participate in that? Almost zero. So thinking about the opportunity there and what we can do in really driving innovation and differences in the way that that world currently works. So I'm very excited to have our panelists up on stage. I've got Chat here from Care and Work. We've got Ginny Hilfiger, who has been a branding and design guru. And then we have Joe as well from Razdan, who has done amazing work in the reinvention of supply chain, giving design some wonderful support in really being able to do their authentic work. So I want each of you to tell us a little bit about yourself to start off.
We'll start on the end. So my name is Joe Ferrara. I've been in the supply chain and manufacturing business for longer than I'd like to say. And at peak, we had the largest high-end private label manufacturing company in the Western Hemisphere. So I've made millions and millions of clothes and had thousands of employees manufacturing. In my latest round, founded a company with my partner called Razdan Company. And Razdan is a platform that is going to change this entire industry. We believe that there are 2 points that are worth noting and saving, and the rest is all broken. Design and consumption. Everything in the middle is broken. And so what Razdan is a platform that actually powers brands, powers designers to connect with customers, and not have to worry about all the things that are broken with long lead times and minimums and returns and making a million of something where you should have only made one. So we'll talk more about what that means and how we actually have done that. There are 5 brands on platform right now, and we're adding 6 more. And these brands have built the largest of the brands, which is only 2 years old, has a $10 million company from zero. And that's built based on design inspiration. She now has 2 employees, that's it, with a $10 million company, and is entirely on platform. The architect for Razdan is building around units of 1. So if a designer has a creation and an idea that they think that they want to make, whether it's a Charlie Brown shirt or whether it's a silk blouse or whatever, there are designers out there that don't have the means and ability to create and realize their creations, and it deprives consumers of that magic that is only delivered by design. We think the industry needs to change. Let's not make millions, let's make 1 at a time. And then if they sell, let's make more.
Thank you, Joe. Hi, I'm Ginny Hilfiger. I've been working for 35 years in the fashion industry designing. As a matter of fact, my first job out of FIT was designing large-size clothing. And then I went on to Tommy to launch several brands over the years. My expertise is creating brand DNA and following it through to the end, to the nth degree. And very often I'm called back to make sure that we don't forget who we are. After that, I was hired by Fila, the owner of Fila, Jean Yoon from Korea, to rebrand Fila globally. And I traveled the world for Fila and helping them establish a brand DNA globally and have my own line in Fila China, Ginny H Modern Heritage, and help them reestablish the DNA and make it more modern through technical fabrics, higher-end fabrics, but still using the DNA of the brand. I also worked in TV shopping, celebrity dressing, and that was all sizes, which is very difficult, but we did do everything from extra small to 3X, great learning experience. And now I'm consulting. I just finished launching a line for Tommy in Amsterdam, Tommy Sport. So I'm here with my good friend Robert and trying to learn and grow and make the world a better place. So thank you, Robert.
And my name is Razdan. I'm definitely the least accomplished of everyone here. I started a company called Karenwear 4 years ago after having friends and family diagnosed with cancer, told to wear tube socks on their arms. So saw friends and family wearing socks while getting cancer treatment, thought it really sucked, and so wanted to do something about it. So started working with nurses and doctors from Johns Hopkins and UVA to redesign the tube sock. And as we were doing that, we took a step back and kind of realized whenever you go to the hospital or anything in the healthcare industry in general has always been focused on function and not on how it looks or how it makes you feel. So these are examples of the tube sock. The pick line cover that we now have, we have all the rights to Major League Baseball and the NBA, so you can wear your favorite teams. I'm actually wearing a collaboration we did with Oscar de la Renta. So it's a hoodie with access to what's called a port. Over there, we actually have a couple patient gowns that we redesigned with Parsons School of Design with the whole goal of not having your backside exposed in the hospital. Camila, who will actually be speaking later today, was one of the amazing students that worked with us on that project. And then our latest item is a new mobility glove that we designed with Lucy Jones that many of you have probably heard of that allows you to move around more easily in a wheelchair. But ultimately, our goal is to help each and every person feel like a person again, no matter what you're going through and no matter what condition you have.
And I think that brings us into a great segue, as you've been talking about just in your world, where there's this huge lack of innovation. What do you think's causing that in this segment?
Yeah, I think people are still willing to pay for the lack of innovation. So the hospital gown is the perfect example where historically you've had the gown that has your backside exposed in the hospital, and everyone's always kind of had a set price that hospitals pay. As everyone may or may not know, healthcare is getting less and less money reimbursed every day, and so they don't really have a huge budget, right? And so if they kind of have a set budget for patient gowns, why try and change it? And so what we did with the Parsons students is actually look at it in another way, saying, okay, this is the budget. How do we design a better product for the same price? And I think that was kind of, I don't know, for some reason it was rocket science. In my mind, it's common sense, but that was like a different approach that we undertook. And I think historically, a lot of conditions people might think aren't a large enough market. And I think workforce is one of those where you have amazing designers who don't necessarily want to be known for clothing that you're going to go into the office and wear. They want to be known for the runway, et cetera. And so as part of that, we actually, for the patient gown, a portion of the proceeds goes back to create a scholarship focused on innovation and design in healthcare at Parsons. So now students will be incentivized to create something for more than the runway, but for people as well.
That's awesome. And Ginny, what about you from a perspective of looking at uniforms at restaurants, airlines? I mean, you're looking at McDonald's, for instance, that has over 850,000 employees that are in uniform. Delta just launched their uniform for all of their frontline and ground crew members of over 65,000 people. What is your perspective on what needs to change in that world?
Well, I never thought of it as a business opportunity for manufacturing and clothing brands, and I don't think they really have either, except a few. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think that with all of the activewear and technical fabrics now that everybody's using in activewear and leisure wear, it's a wonderful opportunity to use those fabrics in uniforms so that they're more comfortable, easy to care for, and also redesign them in a way that they don't look so frumpy. It's just a great opportunity, and I definitely think that the technical fabrics that are so popular with activewear right now, the stretch wovens with breathability, the stretch knits and moisture wicking, cooling and warming, you know, I really think that these fabrics that like the big fabric mills are designing now are totally underused. I think that they should be used for more than just activewear. I think that they should be used for ready-to-wear as well. And I think we'll get there, but I also think that it'd be great if they could be recycled and could be eco-friendly. So there's so much going on right now in the industry, and it's all really exciting talking about it. So I'm so happy that you invited me. Thank you.
And Joe, as we think about the world of workwear, it's all about fit, form, and function. You know, that's really the base of everything. You know, when you think about design and what you are empowering with the people that you're working with, what do you think is the biggest challenge to that and the biggest roadblock?
Yeah, I've been around design my entire career, and I will tell you that designers and design, that's not the problem. Designers are prolific with ideas and thoughts. The problem is that the cost of creation, the cost of taking that idea and realizing it into product form is just too damn expensive. And so what happens is corporations and the business machinery that exists right now crush design so that, you know what, that's a really beautiful pink fluorescent large format plaid shirt, but it'll never sell. And so we're not going to create it. And so that brilliant idea, it's the tree that fell in the forest that no one ever heard. That brilliant idea just gets crushed by the machinery. We never see it. And when you think about how much gets edited out, it's the machinery that's broken. So how do we reimagine our industry so that we drive the cost of creation down to zero? So that we can take that brilliant digital idea that exists in a designer's mind and realize it in product form. How do we do that? I know that sounds ridiculous and like a dream, but actually it's in work, it's in practice. Because you know what? Having the underserved markets and having the micro segments, whether they be based on anatomical differences or preference or based on fit, those can be really attractive markets if we had the machinery to deliver against those markets. You know, one of the brands that's launching on platform right now, is a brand called The Sixes, to be launching in 2 months. And it's for women over 6 feet tall. There's only 1.5 million of those women in the United States. That segment is too damn small for a large corporation to actually build product for women of that size. And you're like, oh, the poor 6 foot tall women in the world. When you start talking to them, they are just as crippled as those who need ports on their front, right? We need to have machinery that allows designers to do their job and a delivery system and a mechanism that does not create burdensome costs for the cost of creation. So that's what I think.
A great answer with that. And also when we think about the uniform segment, you're dealing with many different fits and sizes going up to a 00 in a dress all the way up to a 36W in many instances. When you think about design in that regard, what really is required, and I'm going to toss this to Ginny first, what's required to really make sure that that work group is holistic and really feels a part of that brand? When you think about looking at, you know, a workforce of 65,000 people across many sizes, what really brings the connectivity and makes everyone feel good across that brand?
Oh, definitely to design them all of the same thing, whatever their sizes, and to make it something that they really all got to participate in and give their feedback in, and what would they like to wear, not just what do we think they should be wearing.
And Chat, talk to us a little bit about how that affects your world.
I was actually going to say, kind of to what Ginny said, the best way to kind of solve for that is you have them be a part of the process. So a great example is when we designed the gown, we had clinicians from 9 different hospital systems come and help design it, including the laundry people, who actually ended up being the most important value add in the class, because the reason gowns haven't changed is it has to survive 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Dryers. Also having actual patients, so having patients of all sorts of sizes and different types of people. And so how we've evolved that is we undergo a comprehensive design thinking process where we work with clinicians to make sure that every one of our products is medically superior to what's out there. Because as a startup, no hospital is going to work with us unless we can prove it's way better. Secondly, we work with patients to make sure that these are things that people actually want to wear. So in the workforce, having different employees come in and be a part of it, if you knew that you were going to be part of changing what you wear in the office, like who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And then the last part is including manufacturers and designers in the process, and we've been really fortunate to work with some of the world's leading manufacturers and designers so far. Not Li and Feng yet, but maybe after today.
And to that notion, for major organizations that have uniform programs, you're outfitting, in some cases, tens of thousands of people. What should we be doing differently to provide customization for different types of segments? To your point on 6 feet tall or different body types, gender non-binary, what do you think is the biggest way to kind of crack that nut?
Again, as soon as you drive down the cost of creation, let's talk about the 65,000 employees with different body sizes and shapes. Right now, design could conquer the problem easily by building an interpretation of a similar look or design across these body shapes. Instead, they're told, make one, and let an antiquated grading system take over that was built during the Civil War. No kidding. And let's make sizes for everybody. No, let's design for clusters of small segments so that, that interpretation of the Delta airline suit can work across all the body shapes, right? Designers know how to do that. They're not the problem. It's our infrastructure that's a problem. And so, I think there's technology and there is an orientation that we need to break away from long-run, supply-driven business that says we're going to make 1 million of everything. Let's figure out how to make one of everything, and let's divide the market into 7 billion microsegments, right? Each of us should be considered a market unto ourselves. I mean, that's a ridiculous vision, but let's work towards that direction rather than clothing the entire world in one kind of garment.
And to that point, we spoke yesterday, and again, this is just something that's phenomenal to think about because we're also used to minimums and yardage challenges and whatnot. When you showed us that wonderful kid's pajama yesterday, talk us through kind of that thought process and again, how you were innovative in really creating something special.
So, the platform deploys digital technology. We believe in the digitization of everything. And so there was a kid's garment that a designer came up with. Actually, she's a graffiti artist. And so she thinks in terms of graffiti, not in terms of garments. And she wanted to design something that had, one kind of sleeve and one kind of neck. Okay. She wanted to design this, which is like graffiti stuff. Now, we don't have to like this or not like it, but there's a bunch of people out there that do like this. But this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fabrics on it. In the traditional way of manufacturing, you'd have to order minimums of each of those 5 fabrics. And then you'd have to order them in the right proportions. And then you'd wind up making, I don't know, you'd have to make hundreds of these just to get them on the marketplace. With digital technology, this entire garment was printed on 1 yard of fabric. That's it. Not hundreds, not thousands, but 1. So the graffiti artist, she's having a ball. She's like, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. Unleash design. Give them the tools. We just have to stand back and watch and put our sunglasses on because it's so damn bright.
And I love that. And when you think about dealing with custom, bespoke uniforms for small companies, whether it be a small restaurant or a hotel chain, that just offers a whole new world of creating special, unique experiences that we didn't have today. I know we're short on time, so I want to open up the discussion to the room if there are any questions for our panelists.
Primarily for Joe, but for any of you, are any of you doing 3D printing in your operations?
So question is on 3D printing, is that integrated? We're doing 2D digital printing right now. We've commissioned to have trim. So trim is embellishment that goes on garments. We've commissioned to have trim embellishments 3D printed the first quarter of 2019. And I can't wait to see designers do crazy stuff with that.
Chad, you mentioned the glove and both doing stuff for cancer patients, but some cancer patients a week after they go through chemotherapy, so they need a wheelchair. Have you co-created or coexisted both of your products?
Yeah, great question. So I guess to answer it, all of our products are available to patients online. So for cancer patients, part of the unique aspect of the gloves actually was how you open it. And you can't see it here, but we have special zippers that we patented that allows for ease of access. So if you don't have strong dexterity in your fingers and you are a little weaker right now, you can actually get it on with one hand. And we actually tested that with a number of patients over the last 3 years to get that designed to the perfect size and shape. And that was super important for us. Kind of every time we design any sort of product, we're trying to think, you know, to the point of we want to be customized, but we also want to be able to solve for every problem that we can come up with. So we're always working with people to kind of continually refine. And what I always tell people is we're an iterative design process company. So the gowns that we worked with Parsons on launched in January. We're already on version 4.0. And we're in June, and we're working with a number of hospitals that are available now worldwide. And I think that's really important, is to always be evolving. And factories hate that, but you get them comfortable with it, and you just tell clients, like, you know, you're going to be a part of change. You're going to be a part of making this a better product.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're going to toss it back to Rick.